This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace. Ever feel like you're being pushed or pulled in more directions than you can even begin to process? When life demands more than you can give at work, in your relationship, or at home, Talkspace can help. Talkspace provides convenient online access to therapy, psychiatry, and mental health support. Just answer a few questions online and Talkspace will match you with a licensed provider in less than 2 days, with some even offering same-day appointments. Chat with a therapist over live video, audio, or messaging so you can get mental health support that fits your lifestyle and schedule. No taking time off work, no commuting to an office, and no waiting room. Just support that meets you right where you are. Best of all, Talkspace is covered by most major insurance plans with an average copay of $15. Get space when you need it with Talkspace. And now you can get $80 off your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Get $80 off your first month with promo code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com. That's Talkspace.com.
Welcome to The Bridge, the show that bridges the gap between Eastern and Western medicine, science and spirituality, physical and energetic health. If you're a leader seeking to heal from within, ultimately achieving the pinnacle of health and well-being for your mind, body, and spirit, then rest assured, this show is tailored just for you. I'm Dr. Elizabeth Rodgers, the Sherlock Holmes of health. I'm a trailblazing Harvard-trained epidemiologist turned transformational health coach. Basically, I find the clues that every other healthcare practitioner missed because they were looking in the wrong place. Welcome back to The Bridge, a transformational health podcast with yours truly, Dr. Elizabeth Rodgers. Podcast family, I love you and I've really missed you. And I am recording this episode, the first of 2024, on Valentine's Day. And I'm doing it very intentionally because, as you all know, I am full of heart. In fact, I call myself the Queen of Heart, which you'll hear a lot more about this year. And I just love you all. And so I wanted to kick off 2024 today. You know why? Because like I used to say to my yoga students when I was teaching in studios, whatever it is you decide to do today, you're right on time. And so we're right on time. So I thought we'd start off today by just doing a little catch up. We'll do that for a couple minutes. And then what I want to do today is talk about why New Year's resolutions are bullshit. And it might seem like, why are we going to talk about that today when it's the middle of February? That's exactly why. That's exactly why. I want to talk about why resolutions don't matter and why it's like New Year's Day every single day to your entire body. And I want you to cut yourself a break, because when we start to talk about the statistics around the 2024 New Year's resolutions, you'll see that they all focus around health and well-being. So I know that we are stepping into a time where health is becoming more and more important to us. And I think that's because of what's gone on these past few years. We're really at this turning point. In my strong opinion, what I intuitively sense, more and more people over these next 10 years especially are going to start really turning inward and realizing that it's time to find and create optimal health and well-being. It's time to find balance. It's time to come back to wholeness. It's time to come back to you. And because of that, I know there are so many of you out there. And if you're listening to this show, then of course I know you care about your health and well-being, and you probably hold it as one of your highest values, just like my husband and I do. And so I want to give you some just love and support and encouragement, because I think a lot of you that listen to this show, much like me, could have a tendency to beat yourself up and be hard on yourself for doing what you might perceive or interpret as having a setback, or not taking good care of yourself, or just doing things that you downright know aren't good for you, but you're doing them anyway. It's okay. This journey, it's not linear. And we shouldn't be waiting for excuses like a New Year's Eve or a holiday or an occasion to start taking care of ourselves and prioritizing it. Now is when it matters. It always matters. So it will still matter tomorrow. What I don't want you to do is think that there's some massive failure because you didn't follow a plan. You didn't stick with the resolution. Trust me, I've been there. So let's dive in now and talk about today's topic, which is all about resolutions, about why we decided to start making changes, about why we even care to do something like that on January 1st. Because I guess I get it. We're starting fresh. The year is starting anew. And so why not start off with a fresh new version of us? Except it kind of doesn't work that way. Mostly we don't wake up the next day and just become a magically different person. But I want to share some very interesting facts here. So this year, Forbes Health did a bunch of polls and surveys related to statistics around the 2024 New Year's resolutions. They polled 1,000 US adults. They looked at Americans' attitudes surrounding resolution setting and what types of goals were prioritized. And the most commonly selected New Year's resolution for 2024 among respondents was fitness. The prior year, it was mental health. Now, this is very interesting. Specifically, the survey found that 62% say they feel pressured to set a New Year's resolution. Women feel slightly more pressured to set a resolution compared with men. I find that interesting. We shouldn't be pressured. Why does the world put this external pressure upon us? And why do we give it our power? If you want to make a change for your health, if you just want to feel better than you feel today, it doesn't matter if it's mentally, emotionally, physically, energetically, spiritually, socially, environmentally, or a combination or all of those, don't put pressure on yourself. If you are putting pressure on yourself and you're out there and you're currently in the midst of making health-related changes, or you're thinking about it, that pressure is going to work against you. You are made of energy. This is not an opinion. This is a fact. This is a scientific fact. You are made up of cells, which are made up of molecules, which are made up of atoms, which are made up of protons, electrons, and neutrons, which are made up of energy. And the space that holds them together is energy. And you, the very essence of what you are, is energy. So if you are creating an energetic environment in your body that's pressure, think about that feeling. We all know what it feels like to feel pressured, right? You start to feel like, I don't want you to do this to yourself, but if you can put yourself in that place, right, you start to feel like a little nervous. And so now your nervous system is out of balance and dysregulated. You get a little, your palms get a little sweaty, you get heart palpitations, some of us get a little antsy and fidgety. And now you've knocked yourself out of alignment from being healthy and whole, because newsflash, you can have symptoms, issues, and health problems, but still be healthy in your mind. But if you are inside of your head, beating yourself up, putting that pressure, creating that pressury environment, think about it. You're raising the temperature. Now your cells are starting to it's like you're boiling the water, and now they're more energized, and now they're more erratic, and now they're just all over the place, and they're going to respond accordingly. So it's not creating a healthy environment for you and your body to just come back into alignment, for you to just come back into balance and reconnect mind, body, and spirit. You actually will not do it in that scenario because you're not in balance mentally and emotionally when you are feeling pressure and putting pressure on yourself. So don't put pressure on yourself. Make a change when you feel like it's time. Make a change when you feel ready. Make a change when you find the support that feels rock solid, that feels safe, that feels like love. Now, in 2024, the Forbes Health poll found some resolutions overall to be more common than others, and I found this very interesting. The 5 most popular goals for 2024 in this survey, all but one of them were related to health. The 5 most popular goals for 2024 were improved fitness, improved finances, improved mental health, to lose weight, and improved diet. Except for improved finances, which actually that's not true. Improved finances does have to do with your health and well-being in a way. But a little more indirectly, right? So now we've got 5 things all about health and well-being. What we do also know is that most people don't stick with their New Year's resolutions. Why is that? So at the beginning of February, most people by that point, if they had made a resolution for New Year's specifically, they had already left it behind or not kept up with it. Researchers suggest that only 9% of people that make resolutions complete them. And this was specific to some research done in the United States. So this would be talking about 9% of Americans. My guess is this is probably pretty universally translatable to and generalizable to all people. In fact, the research goes on to show that 23% of people quit their resolution by the end of the first week, and 43% quit by the end of January. So why? Now, of course, there's the more traditional theories behind why, accountability being one of them, not setting goals that are too difficult to achieve, things like that. But why is this really happening? Well, first of all, I want to share with you the fact that most behavior change research, and I used to work in behavior change research. When I was a full-time research scientist, I worked a lot and focused heavily for a number of years on health behavior change research. If you look at across the plethora of health behavior change research, there are thousands, hundreds of thousands, maybe at this point, of health behavior change research studies. Fantastic work has been done in this field. Now, studies in health behavior change research tend to conclude that people are able to make healthy changes and sustain them for a temporary period of time and get positive results. However, research studies in health behavior change also conclude that long-term maintenance of those healthy changes is the problem. So we can make healthy changes, but we can't make them last. We can't sustain them for the rest of our lives. So why is that? That's part of the problem here. And I'm going to circle back to that in a little bit here as we continue this talk. This research absolutely supports why these statistics that show that people quickly and by and large abandon New Year's resolutions. Before we go any further, let's just pause so I can give you some context here. Because we're talking about health and well-being. As you know, I'm extremely passionate about it, and it is so incredibly important to me. But do you now realize that the prevalence, which means the current rate of chronic health issues, has been growing for many years, and it's projected to continue growing essentially forever? There's no endpoint in sight. Why? For a couple of reasons, but a big one is because, of course, the systems that support our health, among other systems, don't necessarily support us being completely healthy. If we were, they wouldn't be able to make so much money off of us and keep us as lifelong customers, right? Big pharma doesn't thrive if you don't need a pill. So this is one reason we need to use our own power to create and sustain optimal health, because we are the ones who have our own back, who know our body best. And we are actually powerful enough to control or at least influence the outcomes we get with our health and well-being. And science backs this up with quantum physics. And one of my favorite studies that does back this up is called the double slit experiment. You can look that up and Google it. Click on the link. That's a YouTube video with a little cute cartoon scientist professor looking guy. And he will explain to you this research study in non-science terms, which is that just what we think in our minds, just what we believe an outcome could be, will 100% influence the outcome that we get. So if we are listening to all the mainstream specialists and doctors telling us that we just have to manage it, that we need to be medicated, we're giving our power away. I want you to remember that you know your body best. And this is why we're all saying here in 2024 that our health and well-being in some way, whether it's a part of it or all of it, is our priority. Back to the research on why New Year's resolutions are failing. There's a few reasons this is happening. First, it's New Year's is bullshit. And so are New Year's resolutions. And here's why. Because you're using a backwards approach to change your behavior or habits. The reason you're using a backwards approach is because you cannot change what you are doing completely and permanently if you do not first change the being, who and how you're being. Because it's who and how you're being that's driving your doing. Your thoughts and your behaviors drive your actions. So if we're not actually addressing the thoughts and the behaviors first, then you can make all the action changes you want. You can change your behavior all you want. Inevitably, you will realign with your thoughts and your beliefs. And if your thoughts and your beliefs don't align with the kind of person who will make the change you want to make for your health and well-being and make it last completely and permanently, then it most likely will not. The other issue is that you're confusing your cells. Now, I want you to think about this. Back when I was younger, I used to think it's weird that we celebrate New Year's and like we make this resolution like, whoa, we're going to start anew tomorrow on January 1st because every day is a new day. And that's the truth. Every single day is a new day. So you know what? If you've been telling yourself for 6 months you were going to make a change and you haven't yet, please don't make today the day that you beat yourself up for one more day. Because then you probably won't make that change again today. Please love yourself and please tell yourself, it's okay. I can make a change any day I want. And whatever it is I decide to do today, I'm right on time. So maybe today's the day that you do make that change, that you do get started toward that goal. But your cells, because as I mentioned, your energy, coming back to that fact, your cells are going to respond. Energy doesn't exist in isolation. You don't exist in a vacuum. We all impact each other. Everything's connected. So everything you think is impacting what's going on in your body, everything you eat, everything you say, everything you do. And your cells are listening. This is supported by the research of the amazing, incredible, brilliant Masaru Emoto, who also wrote the book Hidden Messages in the Water, who helped show us in visual, three-dimensional imagery that what we think, what we say, impacts our cells, and they respond accordingly. So I feel like if we tell ourselves, New Year's Day, that's the thing. That's the big day every year when I get to make a resolution and I get to make a change. And if we give that all the emphasis and impact, and we act like that's the day that it matters most, but any other day is just not as important. What do you think your cells think about that? Do you think the change you would make on the other days of the year instead of New Year's would be as powerful? Probably not. Because your cells are going to respond to how you're thinking and believing. If you believe that it's just as awesome every single day or moment of your life to make a change as it is any other, then I'd say you better watch out. Because when you start making changes, you're going to manifest and transform so much that you're going to blow your own mind. Energy matters. So don't confuse your cells every day. Every day is just like New Year's Day. Every day you can get up and become a whole different person with a whole different life and different behaviors and different thoughts. You could do that right after this podcast ends. You could stop this podcast right now and start that. There's no right or wrong way to make a change for your health and well-being. It's whatever you decide to do. When it comes to New Year's resolutions, I doubt there's a whole lot of alignment between New Year's Day you and New Year's Eve you. So why is it that we decide, a large portion of society, by my observation, seems to decide, well, it's okay. End of the year, it's the holidays. I'm just going to eat. I'm just going to just do it all. I'm going to eat all the stuff and drink all the stuff and just treat my body like crap for a couple of months and party. And then on New Year's Eve, I'm going to really bring it to the culmination of celebration. I'm going to drink and I'm going to party. I'm going to do all this. And it's all okay because I'm going to get up on January 1st and immediately be different. No, you're not. You're the same person on January 1st as you were on December 31st when you got in bed. Something deeper in you is what makes a change that lasts. And being in alignment with your value of health and well-being, being aligned mind, body, and spirit, that's going to help you change even faster. What does being in alignment, mind, body, and spirit even mean, even feel like, even look like? That's a quest and a journey that you and I are on together on this show. And we're not going to answer completely today. So if you really want to make a change so you can feel healthy and whole, which means balanced, connected, and aligned, mind, body, and spirit, then I want you to remember two things. One, every day is just like New Year's Day. Every day is a new opportunity to be and do something completely different. There aren't specific times assigned to when you can make changes. And number two, before you make a change, ask yourself the most important question. Why? Why? Why do I want to make this change? Why haven't I made this change yet? Why have I been standing in my own way? Why does Dr. Rodgers want me to ask myself this question? The reason is because there are at least 8 different categories of root causes, and only one of those categories is physical, meaning, what's going on inside your body. Is it pathogens or toxins or stuff like that? All the other categories have nothing to do with that stuff. It's not about toxins and pathogens and cleansing and parasites. It's about what's going on with you. When people come into my practice to start working with me, what we do first, and of course, I think you could say throughout all of our time together, is identify all of the root causes that are keeping them in less than optimal health and well-being, that are keeping them from feeling healthy and whole in mind, body, and spirit. And now that I've been doing this for years, I can tell you with 100% confidence that with 100% of my clients, what I have found, and I know this with all my heart to be true for you and for everyone else too, is that the biggest root cause stopping you from feeling how you want is you. It's you. I was the biggest root cause standing in my own way too. So trust me, I get it. So ask yourself why. Why are you still standing in your way? And just see what pops up. Maybe you don't have to have an expectation of what the answer is, but just see what comes through. Because when you ask yourself why, you're likely going to make a change that's more aligned. Because it's honest and authentic, not because you think it's the thing you should do to get the results you want, or because it's the thing you think you should do because your sister told you. Maybe the reason you can't stop the bad habit or that you're still standing in your own way is because you haven't healed your story that you're not good enough, or you haven't dealt with the trauma that caused you to start that thing in the first place. There are so many different reasons why, but I can promise you that those answers to those questions will serve you more and take you further in creating optimal health, well-being, and longevity than just blindly diving in and making a change because it was a trend on social media that a bunch of people you knew were doing and you thought it looked cool, or it was because what you think you should do. If you're shoulding yourself, you're literally shitting all over yourself. So don't. It's not about what you should do. It's what do you feel like you want to do? I love you all so much. Today, on this day that we celebrate love, I just want you to know that I love you all. This podcast is so incredibly important to me, and you are going to see some awesome stuff heading your way. I have some absolutely incredibly inspiring, brilliant, beyond my own imagination guests coming your way this year. At the end of 2023, I really did a lot of evaluation, and this podcast is the most important thing to me. I want it to always serve you all to the best of its ability. And that means bringing you guests that are of the highest value possible. And at the end of 2023, after some reevaluation, I have really upped the level of guests on this show and made some standard and strict criteria so that I make sure you are getting the most valuable, honest, sincere, supportive, and helpful health information possible. Wherever you are today, remember that whatever it is you decide to do today, you're right on time. I hope you all can feel the love and positive energy that I'm sending through the airwaves to surround you, because no matter when you listen to it, you will receive it. And I hope that you have an amazing, amazing day. Talk to you soon. Thank you so much for listening to The Bridge, a transformational health podcast with yours truly, Dr. Elizabeth Rodgers. If you enjoyed the show today, it would mean so very much to me if you subscribe to the show and leave an honest, positive review. You can easily subscribe by going to the upper right-hand corner of Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Odyssey, or wherever you listen to podcasts, and press the plus sign in the upper right-hand corner. Also, be sure to sign up for my email list and join our private community to get even more content, value, and support on your health and well-being journey. You'll find these links in the show notes. Sending you so much positive and supportive energy today. I really hope you can feel it.